Okay, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to fix a leaky power steering cap here on a Subaru EA82 Turbo. It's on my Subaru Vortex, but Subaru shares the same power steering cap pretty much on all their models from early 80s to late 2000s. So this fix is quite a universal fix. You'll see just the tank's damp on top. It's not a massive leak or a pressure leak or anything, but it just gets damp. You can smell it a little bit. Collects dust and dirt and everything. Telltale sign of if it's a cap leaking is you'll see all the fluid around the top here. See the seal's all wet, and the top of the tank is all moist, where it's been kind of weeping a little bit. So it's a simple fix. So all we need to do is just remove the cap, and then we disassemble the cap, do a little fix, and put it all back together. Okay, so here's our cap. First I'm just going to wipe it dry. Now when we're working on this we want to keep it clean. When I say clean, just free of any debris, because anything that goes in the power steering tank goes straight through the pump, so it can get stuck under the valve and cause pressure problems and steering problems and all sorts of stuff. Complications we want to avoid. Anyhow, so what we're going to do is just put a little spacer underneath the rubber seal. The rubber seal shrunk. It's no longer tight enough on the tank to seal it properly, so we need to disassemble the cap. So all that holds this whole assembly together is just this spring on a little step on this dipstick. So all we need to do to get it apart is just open the end of this spring up. Okay, we can see there we nearly got it off. You can see it winding up the dipstick. I'm just going to try and grab this spring once more and just flick the end of the spring like that. So that's it. That's the cap disassembled, the spring, the little spring seat, the bottom retainer, and then the seal. So we can just flick the seal out like this. So all that we're going to do is we're going to cut a bit of gasket paper. Now, you wouldn't have to use gasket paper, you could use a bit of cornflake box or anything. Plastic if you feel confident cutting plastic. Put in here to space this seal upwards. So first we just mark it on the paper or cardboard or whatever you're going to use. The outside diameter and the centre hole. I'm just going to push down as well because this particular cap has two little dimples in there and there that we're going to have to cut into the paper. Trace another circle. There should be enough oil on a little bit of plastic to mark the dimples. First time, second time you might have to add a little bit out of the cap. Like that. Forgot to mark the center hole, do that now. Okay, so next we punch the holes. So I'm going to do the small holes first. Now I don't have a hole punch as big as what the center hole requires, so I have to double punch it. And what we need is actually a square slot. You'll see why in a sec. Like that. So this doesn't actually seal at all on this gasket paper. All this is to do is a packer to make the rubber seal in the cap tighter. So like I said, you can use anything that's not going to melt away in the oil to make this. Use your imagination. Okay, so that's punched. Now we just cut our circles with a pair of scissors. One. Two. Now we just fit them in our cap, like so. So where they fit over the centre, it's not round, it's actually a square little boss, so that's why I said you don't actually need a round hole. You can make it round if you make it bigger. Like that, so that's fitting over our dimples, paper's in there. Next for the seal, I'm just going to wipe it. Like so. And then we have to reassemble it. So first goes the retainer in the centre, like so, and the spring seat on top, and now the spring. Now on the top we need to close this up again so it's going to sit under that shoulder. So we just use a pair of pliers or multi-grips just to close the spring diameter up at the top coil. Like that. Now the fun part is to put this over the large part of the shaft. So we're going to use a deep socket. One will push on the end of the spring but fit over the shaft. And try and push it over the little shoulder. Like that. So there it is back together. I'm going to give that a quick wash just so there's no debris inside it and put it back together. Okay, so there it is, all nice and clean, ready to fit back on the tank. So yeah, fits nice and tight, and it won't leak now. Cool, thanks guys.